Oh, man. I'll vote for you right now.
Wait, we're on the air now. You can't. Actually, the polls have closed. You're good. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the studios here at Culpeper Media Network. It doesn't really matter who I am because we have another candidate with us. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome David Lee, candidate for the East Fairfax District of the Board of Supervisors.
All right.
Mr. Lee, first off, thanks for coming in.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
All right. So first off, I like to ask, how was the day?
Long, long and grueling, but really positive. Had a great turnout. Had so many people come out to vote. Had a lot of terrific interactions with the public as they came up to vote. And all of us out there in front of the library at the East Fairfax precinct, all the other candidates, all their teams, we all kind of helped each other out. So it was a sort of a great, a cooperative effort, I think, to make sure that election day went really well for everybody. And so really good day. Really excited about, seeing what the results are. And my personal view is that, democracy thrives in each community, one community at a time. And I think that Culpeper is a really terrific example of people working together to make sure that elections are run well and everybody cooperates. So it's great to be a part of all that.
Well, this is your first attempt at office.
Yes.
What surprises you most about the amount of time involved? What stands out in your mind about this first one?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I think what stands out most for me is the interest that I've received from the community, from people that you talk to. When you go around and you tell people that you're running for the Board of Supervisors and these are the things that are important to me, generally you get a really positive response. And not everybody agrees with maybe some of your views, but what I think I was most surprised and really pleased with was just a high level of interest. People aren't passive about what's going on, about what you're standing up for. They're interested. They want to know what your ideas are and how you might be able to get those into place in the community. So I think community involvement, and it's not that I wasn't expecting it. To be honest, I think the higher level of interest that I've received was not something that I really thought would be coming. So that's been really good.
Was there any particular issue when you were talking to all these people, any particular issue that stands out in your mind that was probably more predominant than others?
Yes.
that the people had?
I would say mental health. In particular, mental health for our young people. But I think when I decided to make that a part of my platform, certainly that was something that I see that we have to address, both here in our community and of course everywhere. But I found that most people, when I brought that up, everybody agreed that was a great concern and what are we going to do about that? So.
And do you have any suggestions?
Oh, well, you know what? I think for me, because I'm a school person, that was my background. Certainly, I think more, not just really programs in school. I think more guidance counselors and social workers at the school level. I was a principal in Falkirk County for many years, and we would have students in crisis quite a bit. And when you have 600 middle school students and really only 2 guidance counselors and maybe a school social worker to manage that, you really need more people to take on that challenge with students and the problems that they're having. So just, for me, looking at it from that one small segment of our community, that would be one area that I would like to address.
I think one thing to help that mental aspect of get rid of the SOLs.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
One thing.
Yes, that's true. That's a great point. Yeah.
That has ticked me.
Yeah.
They just put so much emphasis on that, and it keeps you from getting a rounded education because they teach to the SOLs. Now,
Right.
maybe you should have gone for the school board.
Well, the SOLs are kind of good and bad. I mean, it just creates standards that schools have to go by. So on the one hand, it does sort of raise things up to a certain degree, but the students are put under a tremendous amount of pressure in order to pass those SOLs. And we all have to face pressure in life. That's part of growing up. But I do think it's added pressure to what students are already feeling from other areas of their life, in particular with social media. But that's a great point. SOLs are it's one more factor that's causing students to feel that anxiety.
So real quick, and I
Yep.
asked this question to Ms. Pearson. I'll ask it of you. Coming from an educational background, what led you to run for the Board of Supervisors? What was the impetus behind that?
Well, for me, I've always had the interest of running for public office. To be honest, when I was during my years as a teacher and an assistant principal and principal, it's just long days. Those are long days. Getting up early, getting home late. It's a full day working with students. It's a busy day, so really, in my mind, public office in our democracy is just a really, really important thing for us all to take part of. And so there wasn't really one thing that led me to running for office, other than I've always had this belief that this is what we should do. We should put ourselves out there. We should try to make our communities better. We should listen to our public. We should get ideas, get input. And I'm a big believer in democracy. We have 8 billion people in our world. Fewer than half of those people live in some form of a democracy. So that means you have over 4 billion people on our planet that don't have the freedoms that we have: freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to assemble, freedom to protest against the government. That's a lot of freedoms that a lot of people don't have. So for me personally, I think that we all need to work together to strengthen democracy. And one way that I can do that is to run for public office and to do my part.
What school were you at in Fauquier?
Cedar Lee Middle School,
Cedar
primarily.
Lee.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, I go back.
Home of the Trojans.
I go back from Cedar Lee all the way back to when Dave Nagy was there.
Oh, is that right? Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
sure. Yeah, Mr. Nagy. Yeah, everybody talks about him. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was a character.
that's what I heard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh my
He-
goodness.
that Cedar Lee's a good school. I had
thank you.
I had a relative graduated from there way back.
Oh,
a long
yeah.
time ago, when it was just Bealton High School.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was Cedar. It was the original high school for the southern part of the
Right.
county, right? And that the building site goes way back to the early 1900s. Yep, Cedar
Yeah.
Lee School.
I took
It was
sports
a 12th
pictures.
grade high school, 12th grade school. Yeah.
Yeah, I took sports pictures.
But that was
there
before
for
your time,
years.
right, Donnie?
Oh,
Nothing,
about less
nothing
than
is
that.
before his time.
I was born.
Nothing
in
is before his
1960,
time.
yeah, so.
All right, so Mr. Lee, before we let you get back to it,
Yes,
I
sir.
know it's been an extremely long day.
That's right.
Win or lose, what's next? Again, I'm always the optimist.
Sure.
Let's say it comes in. What are your first steps as a member of the Board of Supervisors?
Wow, that's a great question. I think my first steps would be to spend some time with the fellow board members, just learning, kind of the ins and outs of how the board operates. It's a really, really important position for the community. Lots of things to consider. I think that there is an orientation of some kind. So of course I'd be interested in that, but really spending more time talking to the more seasoned hands. And what are the important things in terms of how they approach that position. And then following that is, for me, the most important thing would then to be probably in early January, schedule your first, community meeting, schedule a meeting with the constituents in East Fairfax. You need to hear from the voters. Hey, what's on your mind? What's important to you? What are the things that we need to look into? And get that set up and hear people and take that input and then move forward from there.
Let me tell you, I've had several friends. I got several friends on the Board of Supervisors down. I've had several close friends in the past. You will hear from them. You will hear from them at 6 o'clock in the morning. You will
Right.
hear from them at
Yeah.
midnight.
Yeah, but that's good. And I'm used to that. As a school principal, you are accountable to the public. You have to earn the trust of your constituents. You have to earn the trust of your public, and we were like that in the public schools. I always felt that you can't assume that parents think that you're doing a great job. You can't assume that they trust what you're doing at school. You have to invite them in. You have to spend time listening to them, and earn their trust. And I would plan to take that same approach with the public, with the folks in East Fairfax, and for that matter, for anybody in Culpeper County or the town who has a concern. I want to be there to listen to them. That's one of the reasons that I ran as an independent. I clearly wanted to be able to talk to folks that are a little more conservative, folks that are a little more liberal, everybody in between. I truly want to be able to hear everybody's views, opinions, and concerns.
Well, Mr. Lee, I appreciate you putting your name forward. I appreciate you putting the time and effort in, and I appreciate you coming here tonight.
Sure thing.
And again, hopefully by the end of the night, we'll see how it all shakes out.
Sounds fantastic. Thank you much for thank you very much for having me in this evening.
Thank
I've
you for
enjoyed
coming in.
Yes,
Thanks, sir. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Yep.
And it was nice to
Thanks,
meet you.
Tommy. You too. Keep up the great work with your articles. Okay.
Wow.
Please, please, don't inflate his ego any more than it already is.
Just don't hold it against me when you don't agree.
Well, listen, you always add a little spice to the
Yeah.
to the next episode. Thanks, son. I really
Thank you,
appreciate
sir.
it. Okay, you guys
Watch your
keep up the
step.
good work.
Thank
Yep.
you. Watch your
Okay.
step on the way
All right,
out.
I will.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, continuing, we are looking at these numbers that have yet to come in.